One, we are live for a new episode of the Electrek Podcast. I am Fred Lambert, your host, and as usual, I'm joined by Seth Winchell. How you doing this week, Seth?
I'm good.
All right, I hope you're good because you have to tell us now about the Cadillac Lyriq test drive. Last week we discussed plenty about this. The first somewhat mass market GM vehicle built using the Ultium platform. But you had an embargo where you couldn't discuss your drive experience. So we focused on the design, the interior, the exterior, and whatnot. So tell us how it drives.
So it actually drives quite nicely, like as you would expect a Cadillac
Mm-hmm.
and as you would expect from an EV.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so as I said last week, the timeline for the Lyriq was moved up 9 months, almost a year. So you know a lot of the features were kind of not done. There's no heads-up display, there's no all-wheel drive, and that's kind of a big caveat here. So the rear wheel drive is 300 horsepower. It's no slouch, but it's a big car, heavy battery, over 100 kilowatt hour battery. So that 300 some horsepower gets the Cadillac Lyriq 0 to 60 in about 6 seconds. That's not super fast, especially for an EV. So and it felt that way. It felt kind of like a Bolt EV kind of an acceleration. Not bad, but not like a premium car.
Do you still get
Um,
the feel of the torque, the EV torque that you get at the beginning of the release?
for sure, it's
Good.
not a slouch. There's no like waiting for the gear to drop. It's not
Mhm.
softened up like
It's just the
too
curve.
much.
The curve to get up to like 60 to 60 miles per hour is pretty is slower than what you would expect in a Tesla, for example.
Right. And
But
and
Cadillac
frankly, what I
has never been known for their performance anyway.
no, but they should be faster than a
Mm,
typical vehicle. And
mhm.
so if you are, if you're a Cadillac customer but you want a little bit of speed, wait for the all-wheel drive version. That adds another 150 horsepower to the car and gets the 0 to 60 down a little over a second more. So I think it's in the high fours, low fives, something like that. We didn't get to test drive that because those aren't available yet. The reason those aren't available yet is because Cadillac used the GMC Hummer. The GMC Hummer has 300 something horsepower motors. They used one of those for the back, the rear wheel drive. So you basically have a third of a Hummer EV in this car, which is crazy when you think about it.
Mhm.
But my question is, why not just use another one? Like have two
Mhm.
300 horse, you get almost 700 horsepower of
Yeah, but
power.
that's just like performance car level. I don't think that's what
Right.
they're going for with that. With the kind of most automakers that go with all-wheel drive, for this kind of market, they even put like 100 kilowatt motor in the front. Normally, they don't go any bigger than that.
Right. So you have to wait a little bit, and there's going to be a 150 kilowatt motor or
Um,
horsepower motor. So
that's
added
nice.
together, you're talking about a 500 something horsepower. That's a pretty speedy car. So you're not gonna be any slouch there. Um, but what's great about a Cadillac is that it's if you're into a soft, luxurious ride, this is the car. Um, Driving around, uh, I was with our video guy Mikey, and we were just like kind of in awe of like how soft the ride was. The turning was like super soft. We'd go over speed bumps, and it was just like it just ate them up. So the super soft suspension. If you're a Cadillac person, that's what you love. Even better though, even like on another level was the road noise. Like there was almost no road noise because not only is the Cadillac kind of over insulated everywhere, but they actually have active noise canceling, and they have speakers in the
Mm.
headrest like right next to your
Oh, they are
ears,
in
which
there
is
and rest. Okay, that's nice.
yeah. So it's just like otherworldly, kind
Huh.
of disconcertingly quiet, and you can still hear cars coming by, horns honking, like regular things that you need to hear. But as far as like road noise when you're just driving down an empty road, it's like disconcertingly quiet. It's kind of like if you descend too quickly in an airplane and your ears are kind of plugged. It kind of feels like that. Like things that normally you can
Mm.
expect to hear, you don't hear. So
And then you open the door and it feels like your ears unplugs when you get out of an airplane or something.
right. It's like your ears are over adjusting
Yeah.
for like not hearing anything, so everything's louder. So for people who like quiet, soft rides, it's hard to recommend anything higher than this thing. It's just super great. And the build quality is really solid all around.
Mm.
So like there was no rattling. I mean, a couple months down the road, maybe something else happens. I don't know, but these cars that they gave us were super tight, like all around.
Do you know what I'm looking at here?
That looks like the
The
gallery. Oh,
generator.
yeah. So that's the GM uh, hydrogen power chargers. So they're like 70 kilowatts. And I was excited. I was like, all right, we're going to go find an Electrify America and charge this thing up. Well, there was no Electrify Americas in, um,
Salt Lake.
well, there is one in Salt Lake, but we were across the mountain in Park
Mm.
City and we didn't have enough time. It was actually quite a quick drive. Like I got there one morning and we left the following night. So there was only like
Mm.
one night of,
Yeah,
real driving.
that's a quick one.
They also
So
made
what do
us
you know what I'm looking at here on the screens? What are you doing there?
that is oh shoot, I forgot what that was. It was part of the
Continue upper, lower.
oh man, I forgot what that was. I totally remember doing this. It might have been the sound profiles.
Customize upper and lower. Customize what? The sound?
No, it might have been. What that's the right button? I don't know. That might have been the drive or the sound. I'll have to
Mm.
check my
Yeah, but
notes.
that's a weird interface. Like,
Yeah, it is.
mm. They have a nice interior. Like the screen,
Yeah,
yeah,
I really
extend from the instrument cluster into the center display.
Yeah, I really love the display. It uses Android for Auto, so you get a Google Maps built in. Plus, you can use CarPlay and Android Auto from your phone. Um, that was a little buggy, but they said they were 2 releases behind the main release on this one for stable. Again, they're 9 months early on releasing this thing, so they weren't expecting to have to release this for another 9 months. And some things are coming via OTA, like Super Cruise. Like, there's no Super Cruise on this.
Hmm.
It'll come by the end of the year. So
The steering wheel looks a bit busy for me. Like there's like 6 buttons plus 2 scrolls on one side, 4 buttons on the other side.
it is a little busy.
Yeah.
I would probably not use the stuff
Mm.
below, but you'll get used to it, I guess. What's kind of interesting, if you look back at that screen, there's a where like the ashtray would have been in a El Dorado from 20 years ago. There's like a little jewel box. Like you pull it out, and I guess you put your like jewelry in there or something. But
Okay.
and then of course the glove box, like Cadillac has all these buttons and knobs everywhere.
Mm.
They don't really, but there's buttons and knobs. To open the glove box, you got to go too deep into the menu on the screen. I thought that was kind
Mm.
of amusing because everybody gives Tesla crap for being
Yeah.
like the wipers and the glove box or something you have to find on the screen. Well, here's Cadillac, and they
Mm.
have all these really nice premium dials and buttons everywhere.
Mm.
Nothing for the glove box. So,
All right. I see a few questions about the car coming in.
mhm.
What is the range and the battery size?
So the battery size is a 102 kilowatt hours.
Do you know if it's that's usable or if that's overall
I think
capacity?
that's usable,
Okay.
because that's GM's Ultium. They have them in like 51, 102, and the Hummer EV is 204,
Mm-hmm.
which is crazy, by the way. Like, there's 2 of these like huge battery packs. Anyway, um, the range on the two-wheel drive version is a little over 300 miles. I think 312, and then the all-wheel drive version will be a little under 300 miles.
Now the big question.
Okay.
One thing that I love about the Bolt, so GM, is the range calculation. The estimates are pretty good. Like they're better than Tesla in my
Hmm.
limited experience that I have with the Bolt. You have a lot more experience, and I think you would agree with that.
Yep,
Uh, do you think that's going to transfer to the Lyriq with the new Ultium platform?
absolutely. I think
Yeah.
they just don't know how to embellish as well. I guess like they just it says 312 miles when you hop in the car, and you go 30 miles and it says you know 280. So
Good math, said good math.
thank you. I mean, this was in Park City and it was a nice day.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, Tesla says that they're improving that stuff too. So they are trying to improve that with the evolution, with temperature and all that. But I've yet to see an impact on my own driving because I do the same roads all the time, and oh boy, do I get like 20-30% difference, easy, sometimes 50. Oh, okay, you
yeah,
see the speakers here on the. You can actually see them in the headrest.
yep,
Those are the speakers. Yeah. Wow.
yep.
Okay,
I mean,
that's cool. Well,
the
go.
quality of the materials all around is really nice. You can see that is like kind of jewelly, like there's
Mm.
sparkly whatever things. Maybe
That's a
not
jewel
my
box.
style. That's the jewel box, yeah.
What's the material? The blue material inside? Is it
It's I don't know.
plastic
It's
or
like yeah, no, it's like a
rubber?
soft rubber, yeah.
Okay.
And also the dashboard is like a soft rubbery thing as well. Feels more premium than like the
Mm.
plastic on a Bolt, for instance.
The roof is really beautiful. The all
Yep,
glass roof.
and it's got a shade that you can just
Mm.
push a button.
The
Little
seats are
slow,
also legit.
yeah.
Uh,
Everything you got, and you have
yeah.
massaging chairs if you want that. That was kind of weird.
Yeah, I tried those in the Audis. Have pretty good ones. What's the dial for? Is that like a GM style dial? I hope not.
Yeah, it's a GM
BMW style
style.
dial. BMW.
It's for the if you don't want to touch the screen, you
Oh,
can
get
kind
out
of
of here! Get
yeah
out of here with that. Oh, that's cool. That's a nice little
yeah
scroll for
that
the
and
fans.
the quality is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I was just in the Rivian again, and you have to use the screen to like put the vents up and down. And I was like, man, why don't they just do what Cadillac did? Like
Mm,
build a nice manual. Like you never need a screen to change the vents when you just know
yeah.
exactly what to do.
And
Anyway,
this is Mikey in the back. Mikey is like what, like 6 foot tall?
yep.
Yeah. Look at it. It looks like he has plenty of headroom.
Lots of
Uh,
room and then lots of footroom as well. I think
mm,
part of that is because this is going to be big in China.
mm,
They're building this in China as well.
mm-hmm,
And in China, the Cadillac customer is typically driven around by somebody, so they're hanging out in the back.
mm-hmm.
And
Makes
but
sense.
unfortunately, that's also why there's not going to be a 3 row version of this because the back seat is pulled back a little bit more than you would
All
need
right.
for a third.
Sorry. I was looking at the questions. I'm not from. Do you know what he means? But do the chargers show up on the screen like in a Tesla? What does that mean? Oh, okay. On
Oh,
the
like
navigation.
navigation?
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it
Uh,
uses Google Maps, and you can have that as well.
yeah. Google Maps have integrated everything from like all the big ones, so that shouldn't be a problem. How much will Super Cruise be? Do we know? Like they are probably the same price because they're already available on the other Cadillacs.
Yeah, I don't remember what
This,
it's going to cost,
uh,
but you can pick it. I mean, all the Cadillac Lyrics will have the hardware to do Super Cruise. So, uh, you know, I think they might all come with it. I should find out, but I don't
as
know
a
if it's.
standard.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, that'd be interesting. Yeah, I know like a CT6 I think already has it. A few of the gasoline power Cadillacs
Yeah, the
have them.
Escalade had it
No.
too.
All right. Do we have anything to add on the Cadillac Lyric?
No,
Overall,
great car.
give it as a quick score, like a quick score for like it's just
Uh,
a 1 day test ride. It's not a full review. Let's be honest. Let's be clear about
so
that. Right?
I would not buy this one. I would wait for
Yeah,
the 2023 twenty
yeah.
twenty four version, and I would
With
definitely get the
with
all-wheel
the dual
drive.
motors. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I think that sends the message. All right, let's jump into some news item. Yesterday, I went to the Trois-Rivières Airport to see the first Tesla Model S Plaid achieve 200 miles per hour. So if you're not familiar with Tesla's claims about the Model S Plaid, they they were when they first released it, they said that it was going to reach 200 miles per hour, but when they actually delivered it, it was stuck at 163 miles per hour, which is 262 kilometers an hour. So still extremely fast, obviously, but not what they promised. Later on, Tesla unveiled released a track mode that was earlier this year. It's the same thing that they released for the Model 3 Performance, but a new version. So it plays with the cooling inside the vehicle, suspension. Well, not in the case of the Model 3, but in the case of the Model S, that they have active dampening in the air suspension that they can play with. So it activates that, and it also unlocks some more top speed for the vehicle: 175 miles per hour, 282 kilometers an hour. But that was it. That's they didn't do anything else since. So there's been some speculation as to why they're doing that. At first, when they released the 200 miles per hour, they said it's going to require some upgrades to make it happen, some hardware upgrades, but it didn't go in details into what that's going to be. Late last year, Tesla released this ceramic brake, this carbon ceramic brake package at $20,000. So it looks like that might be though they don't make it clear if on the package, they don't for the brakes, they don't say that that's going to unlock 200 miles per hour. But you certainly, it's not a luxury if you're trying to reach 200 miles per hour. That's one thing, and it's impressive to do. But braking at 200 miles per hour is another very important thing that you need to do. And as far as I know, they haven't delivered that. Those you can pre-order them since last year, but I don't think they have delivered them yet. So there's no car, Model S Plaid, or any Tesla vehicle really that has reached 200 miles per hour yet, except for this Model S Plaid in Trois-Rivières yesterday. So it's the people at Nginx. If you might remember them, we reported on them before because they've been building these modules that you can plug into your Teslas that basically bypass some of the software limitation that Tesla puts on the car. More famously, they did one that do basically what Tesla's like 50 horsepower boost that they do on the Model 3s and the Model Y, that unlocks some more power in the dual motors. And like you shave, I don't know, maybe a half a second in 0 to 60. They offer that for like cheaper than Tesla does, and also they have a few other features that they can unlock through that system. But they really specialize in understanding Tesla's software limitation and bypassing those to give owners the full power of their cars, with of course a lot of disclaimers in term of like okay, you there's some reason sometimes where there are software limitation in terms of protecting the hardware, and I'm talking about the powertrain here, so everything from the battery pack to the motors. um, but yeah, I mean, but Nginx, that's what they do. They like to push things to their limits, and they are like the adopt this idea of this is your car, you can do whatever you want with it within, of course, limits of safety. And this was a very safe event. That like they literally shut down the airport for a half an hour so that they can do the run. Everything was done very safely. They even had the a reservist fireman there that worked for Nginx that came out with his suit to be sure in case the battery pack catches on fire.
I was going to
And
say it like that a lot could go wrong there. I mean, the tires. I think one of the commenters is asking like, were they rated for that kind of speed? But
yeah,
like,
they did. So the only two hardware changes that they did was new tires. So they went with a super pallet from Michelin, so that even higher than the highest grade that Tesla offers. I don't know if they are rated for 12 miles per hour, but it's as close as they get for like street tires. And then since they couldn't get access to Tesla's carbon ceramic brakes, they went with Mountain Pass that sells a much bigger rotor that you can get for your brakes. So they had the bigger brakes and the better tires. So, but that's not really to reach that kind of speed. It's to be able to brake and to slow down the car safely after I reach that. And they had tried to do it a few weeks ago. I was supposed to go, but timing didn't work. At another airport, but a much smaller airport. I think the runway was like a kilometer long or something like that, or maybe a little bit more than that. And they could accelerate. They got, I think they got 206 kilometers an hour, which is what. Around 180, I want to say 180 miles per hour. So higher than the limit that Tesla has, but they couldn't go faster than that. And of course, what they wanted was the 200 miles per hour mark, 330 kilometers an hour. And there they had a 3 kilometer long runway. So the idea was you accelerate over about 2 kilometers, and then you have over around a kilometer to slow down. 6,000 feet, about 6,000 feet to slow down actually, and they needed all of those 6,000 feet. So Guillaume André, the CEO of Nginx, just launched the car. And he launched it though. There was a draggy video that he released, but the draggy video is not that useful because he didn't actually gun it. So it's not like you get the best 0 to 60 acceleration, quarter mile of it. He still did like a 10-second quarter mile, which is insane, but you can actually do a better quarter mile with the stock Model S. That's not what he was trying to achieve. He was trying to slowly, gradually increase the speed to reach that top speed, but not slowly accelerate because you have the limitation again of the runway. But yeah, it was impressive. Like you should watch the video. I posted it on the Electrek's YouTube. The sound that the car makes when it passes you, it sounds like a jet is trying to fly off, and it actually takes off faster than some jets speed they achieve to take off the ground.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, that's absolutely insane. And yeah, they not only they bid 200 miles per hour, they actually read 216 miles per hour, which is three. What's 216? Put it somewhere in there.
In kilometers.
Yeah, people are always on me if I just do the miles per hour. People get on me about the kilometers. Damn, I didn't put it.
Sly is in the comments. He says 306, but I don't
No,
know.
306 is what they reached last time. It's 350. Yeah, it's I think it's just short of 350. It's 348. But I don't know if the sound is gonna work here if I do it. I get. Yeah, the sound you won't hear as well. It's not gonna work.
Yeah, just go to the video. It's great.
Yeah, and yeah, after that, so 216, and he was still going up to like there's more power in there, not that much, but he felt like he needed to slow down because he had to like put everything. The regen, by the way, you don't have any regen. I think 180 or something. He started getting an alert that you won't get any regen, which is kind of a good thing to know, by the way.
Yeah.
And also there's I think at like 190, 186, 190. The odometer goes red. It's like, hey, you're not supposed to be at that kind of speed.
Right.
I didn't know that. That was cool. And
was he considering like a parachute or anything?
No, he kind of have a flat parachute came up. He was going so fast that the air pressure on the car opened up the charge port. And you know the charge port on the Model S, it's not a up one, it's the side one. So it did a little flap on the side to slow it down. I was afraid that the thing would just snap off, but it didn't. Yeah, and then he drove the car right back to us. So we were like in the middle of the strip. It was me, a local news cameraman, and a few of the guys from Nginx. And the sound of the cooling of the motors and the battery pack was. I've heard some like in the heat of the summer after pushing the car like a little bit hard. Like it is quite a sound that the cooling system of a Tesla vehicle does. But I've never heard it like that. It was crazy. But yeah, I mean, at this point, like they pushed it their limit. There was some concern, obviously, about like okay, we're not supposed to push it that hard. But the car took it, and then Guillaume drove it home after that, like no problem. And yeah, at this point, it's going to be the battery pack that's going to be the limit. He says they cannot pull any more amperage from the battery pack than that, otherwise it's going to blow up.
Did he like note? I guess you could see in the video, but like how many kilowatts was it pulling at the end?
Oh, that's a good question. Actually, I don't know. Like it has to be to the limits of the motors. I know. I know that they reach, I think, 23,000 RPMs on the motors.
Oh my gosh!
Which is we know that the limit is 25,000 with the carbon wrapped motors that the Model S has, but it was crazy. Like this is as fast as I've ever seen I don't know if you can say production car drive, but it is technically like a production car. It's just that they bypass the software. Like there was a software limitation. But I would like to see like some, because the car is completely stuck, or like no weight reduction made. Like if you have some people that like to do like weight reduction in their car, like remove the front, remove the back seat, or something like that.
Like drag times.
Yeah. There's something to do with that for sure. Like if or like you take Unplugged Performance's dark helmet that they raced at Pike Peaks, and
Saw that.
you put that software into it, or that module that bypass the software limitation, and you'd have a crazy electric race car right there. But yeah, that was cool. You can the Nginx is not selling that module just yet, and I don't know if it's a good idea to put that in the
No,
hands of
it's
the average consumer. But yeah, I mean, if you have the car already has insane performance, so you have to be careful with it anyway. But that was a cool thing that happened yesterday. All right, moving on to Gigafactory Texas. We've been trying to get an idea of the rent in Gigafactory Texas, and actually, I got two good sources this week that gave me a better idea, though it was almost too good to believe, really. Uh, the no, we thought that there, but also there is an explanation for it that sort of it's not that fun, but it helps understand it. We thought that Berlin was doing better than Texas, and it might have been until like very recently, really, doing better. Because Berlin doesn't have to have 4680 battery cells; they just have to have the 2170. They don't use a structural battery pack system, or at least not as an extensive one as the one that they use in Gigafactory Texas. So they achieve 1,000 vehicle a week, like a few weeks ago, and they've been ripping up since. Texas, we have not heard anything until now. We know that there were some cars were coming up. We know that there was higher availability earlier this month with Tesla opening up to new inventory, sending some of the cars to an inventory. But now what they did is actually launch the Model Y long range at the factory too. And we couldn't confirm it physically, but I had two customers reaching out saying, confirming to me that they were told by Tesla that their cars had the 2170 cells. So Tesla started building them with 2170 cells, and it would make sense because the car matches the specs of the Model Y long range that Tesla builds in Fremont that also has 2170 cells.
How
But
were they able to confirm that they had 2170s?
like I said, it's not confirmed. It's just the Tesla told them, like
Oh, okay.
when they accepted to take the car from Gigafactory Texas instead of the car that they ordered from Fremont. They were told like it's basically the same car. It has the 2170 cells, the same design as the Fremont one. It's just yeah that. So I mean, the information that customers get from Tesla advisor is not always right because Tesla's own internal communication with advisor is not always good. But this is the best we got right now. Now, separately, what though this is probably the cause, it apparently let Tesla ramp up production significantly. So I thought that for sure they achieve around at least 1,000 units. But I had two sources that tell me that at least a couple thousand units. And one source was as high as saying that it was up to 5,000 units, though it couldn't confirm the actual production rate. You could just confirm that Tesla is making that amount of units available for deliveries every week right now. So
Hmm.
it might be a build up. So it's not a production rate; it's like a delivery rate, really. But that's on. But it's at least in the couple thousand. Now, whether is it sustainable or was it a boost that Tesla did for the end of the quarter? Because that report is from like 3 days ago. But yeah, I mean, either way, it definitely helped with the help of the end of the quarter, which we should have some information about. I would assume tomorrow, even though it's well, maybe I don't know how the long weekend's going to affect it, but Tesla nobody doesn't care about that. So I would assume that we're going to get those numbers tomorrow morning, and the estimation, by the way, are all over the place. Like I've seen the lows are probably around 250, I think, and I've seen people closer to 300. But I think
What do
most,
you think the break even point is?
I think like probably 260 is baked in. If Tesla can be like closer to 270, that would be good. Lower than that, would probably be hard on the stock. Though the stock hasn't been doing good this week either.
Yeah.
All right, and even if they are ramping up at Gigafactory Texas, they're also expanding it. We learned today that Tesla filed for a new permit for the description is all above ground piping and underground plumbing for GA2 and GA2 and 3 expansions, 500 square foot. So it's a new building that they are putting the ground piping and underground plumbing for. That's going to be a 500,000 square foot. And GA2 and 3 that generally means a general assembly 2 and 3. So there's going to be two new general assembly lines. We don't know for what cars. If they are just now starting to break ground on a new building, I would assume that it's going to be for a new vehicle, like when I say new vehicle, not the Model Y. Maybe it could be Model 3. And we know that Tesla wants to build Model 3 there too, but there's also Cybertruck, there's Tesla Semi, there's the new Robotaxi that they've been talking about. So we don't know. But I think there's 4.2 million, just over 4 million square feet right now at this giant mile-long building that they have there. So 500,000 feet more. It's a big addition. And that's not just even the only building there. That Tesla's also building the cathode manufacturing building a little is it north? I think northeast of there. So this the Gigafactory Texas site is going to be just massive, which is why I was intrigued by Volkswagen CEO Herbert Diess' comment this week. So there's been a lot of talk lately about Volkswagen catching up to Tesla. It was Diaz himself who first started that by saying that Volkswagen's gonna catch up to Tesla's electric vehicle sale by 2025, and then Bloomberg came out with their own report claiming that they're gonna do it even faster. It's gonna be in 2024 in just 2 years, and they had this like projection of how the sales are going to justify that claim. So Bloomberg thinks that even Volkswagen is being conservative with their prospect, which they don't have an history of being conservative about their
Nope.
electric vehicle prospect. I think I remember in 2018 they claimed that they were gonna they wouldn't they no I think yeah in 2016 they claimed that 2018 they're gonna be the leader in electric vehicles, and then in
Right.
2018 they claimed that it's gonna be by 2020, and of course Tesla beat them by a wide margin again. And now he said this week that. He said that their current cost improvements and the subsiding chip shortage is going to help them narrow the gap with Tesla. Uh, and then he said that he said Elon, but I assume he meant like Tesla. Like a lot of people do that these days. They just like say like Elon Musk is Tesla as a whole. It's weird. They said Elon has to ramp two highly complex factory in Austin and how do you say Grunheide? Like,
Just
let's
say
just say
Berlin.
Berlin.
Yep.
It's Berlin at the same time, as well as expand production in Shanghai. That's going to take straight strength out of him. And he said that in the context of catching up to Tesla, which that I completely don't understand because yes, Volkswagen is also like they are. I know as they're not building as much new factories, but they are very willing to convert their existing factory to electric vehicle production. They've done that in Zyko. They're doing it in Chattanooga. They have shown a great willingness to do that, which I think is great. But I think Austin and Berlin are giant assets for Tesla. They're not a weakness in catching up. Tesla already has a giant lead of like I think like close to 1 million vehicle per year production over Volkswagen. Uh, Once they ramp up both Berlin and Texas, I think the lead is going to be greater, not smaller. Of course, yeah, right now it's weakening Tesla in the terms that it's costing them billions of dollars until they can ramp up production. But it's almost assuming that they won't be able to do that, which I don't know. Unless he thinks that okay, the chip shortage is subsiding for Volkswagen, but not for Tesla. Um, which, to be fair, Elon has made comments about he thinks that the chip shortage is still going to be a problem at least toward until the end of the year. But I think like by the end of next year, I'm very confident, and I'm known to be somewhat conservative about Tesla. I'm very confident that both Berlin and Austin are going to achieve greater. I think an exit rate at the end of 2023 greater than 500,000 cars a year, and that's adding 500,000, adding a full million of capacity, while also looking to double Shanghai and to increase Fremont by at least 200,000 units a year. So Tesla really has the opportunity of probably had 1.5 million units capacity through the next year, like maybe even exiting 2023 with 2.5 million vehicle capacity production. I'm not even counting Cybertruck in there because I like if Elon right now says that Cybertruck is going to be starting production around mid 2023, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like more than a few thousand Cybertruck delivered by the end of next year. DS is pronounced D's. Is that how you pronounce D's?
Yeah, like
D-E-E-Z?
D's nuts. Yep.
Herbert D's. Okay, that's the first time I've heard it like that.
Herbert
But
D's is nuts.
yeah. Well, with that comment, is definitely nuts.
Yeah, I mean
I'm gonna.
on the high level there, like he's saying that Tesla can't ramp faster than VW, but like
Mm,
they're ramping as fast as humanly possible. Tesla
yeah.
is, and VW is not quite as fast. So I don't what's going to speed them up and slow Tesla down. Don't
Mhm.
really see that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Volkswagen is the most aggressive legacy automakers to convert their production capacity into electric vehicles. I just, I just haven't seen from them like a project on the scale of Gigafactory Texas or even Berlin. Uh, it's hard to underestimate um, overestimate, I guess, the size of those factories. Like they are
Yeah,
giant. Like you can use all those adjectives: giant, massive,
superlatives.
monster, yeah, superlative. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. All right, we got some numbers on the deal between, well, I guess not really between Tesla, but between Uber and Hertz to supply Tesla vehicles to Uber drivers. So if you've been following that, it came from last year when Hertz announced that they ordered 100,000 Model 3s. It turns out it's 100,000 Model 3s and Model Ys. Then they announced that 50,000 of those cars are going to be reserved for Uber drivers to rent them through a new program between Hertz and Uber. And that's going to include like you rent it and it includes insurance and the maintenance and service and everything in that for at $334 a week, everything included. So they're going to make 50,000 of them available over the next year, and they have an option for 50,000 more, I think, if the program is successful. And Uber gave an update on the program. Andrew McDonald, Uber's senior vice president of the mobility and business operation, said that already 15,000 Uber drivers have rented this vehicle to the program, and they didn't say like out of how many available. I would assume that's pretty close to everything that was available because I would be surprised if Hertz is nowhere near like 50,000 units overall to their entire fleet delivered yet. Like that was a point of contention when they announced that purchase. That Tesla, they said like we're gonna get all those cars by the end of 2023, and Tesla was like, "What?" Even 2022, man. I think by the end of 2022, Tesla was like, "What are you talking about?" So yeah, 15,000 drivers have already rented. They already driven over 40 million electric miles. Some drivers are saying they're saving as much as $160 a week. So if it costs you 230 to rent it, already like half of that money is covered just by gas savings. And then they also reports earning more from both. You get $1 more per mile driving electric for each trip. Doesn't sound that much, but a lot of Uber trips are pretty short. It's like a lot of Uber trips are like 10, 15 minutes. So like just $1 more on that. That makes a big difference. Then there's the new Comfort Electric that also pay more, but it also costs more to customers. So I don't know how many customers are actually ordering that Comfort Electric. Uh, though it's kind of like an alternative. It's not just the fact that you're being environmentally conscious and by ordering a Comfort Electric Uber instead of Uber X. It's also just a little bit more luxury because you get a Tesla vehicle or a Polestar. Polestar is also starting to get introduced in that program. But yeah, so they can learn more, and they say that they are getting more tips. Though that I'm not that surprised. So that makes sense. So they're making more money with the car. They released some data in terms of 90% of the drivers renting a Tesla tours are driving electric on the Uber platform for the first time. So it's really like most people are just it's working in terms of adding electric vehicle to the Uber platform. So that's a good thing. 92% of them now say that they are considering purchasing electric vehicles since participating in the program. That's a good idea. Maybe you just want to rent it for a few weeks, see if it works for you. Because at $334 a week, like I'm sure that Hertz is making some money off of that. So if you have good credit and you can afford it, it might make sense to outright buy one and use it as a Uber yourself. You're probably gonna make some more money with that, I would assume. So it's a good way to get people to see if it works for them. Like, of course, you need charging solutions and everything like that. But yeah, I think it's a very good solution.
Yeah, it's a great time to try this stuff out with gas prices
Mm,
being so high.
yeah.
The difference is probably even more pronounced than it would be normally, and
Yeah.
you know, with customers tipping higher as well, seems like a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, we posted on the website all of the cities where this is available right now for Uber drivers. So if you drive Uber, go check it out. It's like 30 US cities. I think it's just in the US for now, as far as I know. All right, this is pretty cool. There's a bunch of Tesla Megapacks on the way to Hawaii, on the way of Oahu, I think is yeah, Oahu.
Wahoo!
Oahu. Sorry, my
Sorry.
Polynesian, Hawaiian is not very good. So this project called the Kapoli Energy Storage Facility, it's called KES. It's a pretty big project, 185 megawatts of power output, 565 megawatt hour of capacity, so like half of gigawatt of energy capacity, 158 megapacks. It's gonna replace the very last coal plant in Hawaii, in the state of Hawaii. So that's pretty cool. The plant is used to stabilize the grid with maintaining grid frequency. So I wrote this article and so many people gave me comments of like, it's not really replacing the coal plant. Batteries don't create energies. Meh, meh, meh. The coal plant at least produce energy. And everyone knows that, and a battery don't magically create energy, but a bunch of coal power. There's a ton of renewable energy on Hawaii to start with. Like they have the renewable energy to power Hawaii. It's just it's not stable. Obviously, the sun doesn't shine all the time, wind, and everything. So having batteries to control when you can discharge you can recharge it with the renewables when you have excess renewable and discharge it when you want. That alone can take care of some capacity, but on top of it, some power plants like this particular coal power plants was used to maintain grid frequency, and Tesla Powerwall, because of their quick discharge capacity, are great for that. So they're going to replace that capacity with that. And in September 2022, they're going to kill that last remaining coal power plant, and they are right now installing those mega packs to be operational by that time. So I thought that was pretty cool. All right, we have a few more news items to discuss. We're already 42 minutes in, but and then we're gonna try to get some more questions. And I see there's a bunch of other questions already that wasn't related to the Cadillac that we talked about earlier. But any kind of question you can put in the comment section right now. And we're gonna get to them in then just a few minutes. All right, so the Hyundai Ioniq 6 got unveiled this week. It's kind of the first sedan that's using the new Hyundai electric vehicle platform that powers the Ioniq 5 and a few other vehicle coming from the Korean automaker. So, what do you think in terms of the design? A lot of people are saying like Porsche kind of feel.
Yeah, EQS as well. Uh, I mean, I don't know. I like it because it's different and it's like it's a smart use of design to bring a low coefficient of drag. Like those two things. The back, I don't know. It's just a little weird to me, but
Yeah. The
I saw
front,
some.
like the front is it is cool looking, very aggressive. Headlights, a strong statement. No fake grill whatsoever. Just like very like new like design electric vehicle wise. Uh, then so I assume the sides are for the aerodynamic, and then they try to match the back with that. And yeah, I mean this angle is pretty good, right?
Yeah,
On the side profile looks good. Yeah, almost like a beetle kind of feel
yeah,
to it at
like a
times, huh?
stretched out beetle or something.
Yeah, exactly, stretched out beetle, because of the roundness. Sorry, because of the roundness to it, I guess. Let's make a big difference.
I think it's fine. Like I don't think anybody needs to worry about this car being popular. I think it's going to do well
Yeah, well, it
because
still
it's
has
distinctive.
is the thing, and it still has all the benefits of that you see in the Ioniq 5, which is a pretty good range, vehicle to anything, dual bidirectional charging capacity, very good charge rate, not just the top charge rate, but the actual charge cycle. What is it, like 5 to 8 in 30 minutes, 5 to 80% in 30 minutes,
Yep.
um,
No, it's
18,
like
18 minutes,
18,
18
18
minutes,
minutes. Yeah.
18 minutes, basically a full charge in 30 minutes. Yeah. We don't know anything about the pricing yet. When are they releasing that car?
I think next
Uh,
year.
yeah, next year would make sense. Yeah, it depends
Yeah.
on the pricing. But do you expect something close to the Ioniq 5 in terms of price, or something a little bit more expensive?
I would
Because
say a little bit more expensive. I would say starting in the 50s for rear wheel drive.
mm-hmm. Because
Still,
it's not like I mean, do we have any? And we have some interior pictures here. Looks somewhat similar to the 5.
yeah, and
The,
that shows
yeah.
it with the rear view cams
Yeah, the side mirrors
side.
are replaced by the side cameras instead. Yeah, I mean that looks cool, but it's not even legal here yet.
Speaking of
But
those colors, I remembered, and somebody helped me in the comments, what that thing was for the Cadillac, the color wheel thing.
mm-hmm.
That was for the interior lights. Like you
Okay.
set the
You have
interior light.
LEDs across the interior.
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, they're pretty cool too. Can only see them in the dark though, so I didn't make any videos of it.
Oh,
They didn't let us in at the dark. They
yeah.
had already given us drinks, so no driving for us.
All right, another car that was, well, no, it wasn't unveiled this week. It was kind of announced this week with some teasers. Is the Drako Dragon? I like the name. The name's pretty cool. Drako Dragon. And if you don't remember Draco, they came out of Northern California a few years ago with the Draco GTE. This car right here, a $1.2 million hypercar. Uh, it was a cool car. It's just that it was based on the Fisker Karma chassis. So it had a lot of limitation. Like the interior had the same problem as the original Fisker Karma. Like it was kind of busy and not that much space. But what it was really, it was a test bed for their powertrain that Draco have been developing. A very impressive powertrain. I didn't get to drive it. I just had to the test ride in it with Valentino Balboni, the legendary Lamborghini test driver. We had a lot of fun on the test track with it because they have a very powerful quad motor powertrain that is very flexible in terms that it has a range of 225 kilowatts output and input. So there's very quick, very powerful regen, very powerful motor, one for each wheel. So the torque control was just insane of the car, like insane torque vectoring that allows, and also torque vectoring. I don't know if it's still the term is still applies for when you regen, but basically turns the car into a railgun. It just sticks to the track with incredible traction, and and adjust the torque at each wheel depending on what you're doing, which makes it like a rail gun, not only when you're gunning it in a straight line, but also when you're cornering. Very impressive powertrain. So when I saw that car, Draco said $1.2 million. They said we're gonna do 2 dozens of them. I was like, okay, this is like a nice toy for the rich. But when I started to learn more about the powertrain that they're developing, I'm like, okay, like I think this is more like a super expensive test bed to build that powertrain, and they're gonna release another vehicle after. And this is it. I had to do my little wordplay with Bruce Lee. Enter the Drako Dragon. That's where the Drako Dragon enters. It all has all the benefit of, like, they're trying to drive. They call it the Drive OS quad motor powertrain. So it has the same powertrain. Well, I'm sure they have improved on it a little bit since the GTE, but they are putting it in what they're calling like a luxury hypercar SUV. So as you can see from the teaser image, it's an SUV. Has even gull wing doors, though it's a pretty sleek SUV. Like It's not that high. Like almost some people would call it a CUV. Design this time they designed from the ground up, so no limitation with the chassis by that's another name that I'm gonna mess up. Uh, Lawi Vermeerch. He's the guy behind what's the Italian company
Pininfarina.
Pininfarina. He was the head designer there for a while. He designed the Lightyear One, but his big car like the Ferrari FF, Ferrari 458, Maserati Grand Cabrio. Those are like very famous car that he designed. Um, he designed this Drako Dragon too. We don't see the whole car yet. What Drako told me is looks like they are aiming for a full unveiling later this year, and at that point they're gonna release also pricing information. Though they did say that it is competitively priced this time, so don't expect a 1.2 million price point. Don't expect it to be cheap either because they say competitively price with super SUV segment. So
So what? $250,000?
yeah, I tried to Google like what is a super SUV segment. Like, is because people
There's
are
like a
kind of
Lamborghini SUV.
yeah. So that's what I thought. I thought okay, at least there's no one really considers like there's no clear hyper like super SUV segment, but I would assume that the Lamborghini Urus is probably the gold standard there. Like since Lamborghini does an SUV, and that starts at $220,000. So I would expect something between that and like maybe three or maybe but higher than $300,000. I don't think it would be very competitively priced. But look at the specs: over 200 miles of top speed. So I'm gonna be competing with the Model S Plaid. Zero quarter mile in 9 seconds. So that's competitive with the Plaid, even though it's an SUV. 60 miles per hour in 1.9 seconds. Again, competitive with the Plaid. This is quite insane specs. So yeah, we're gonna check that out later this year when it comes out, when it's unveiled.
Looks good.
All right, the Chevy Silverado. We haven't heard much of the car since they announced it last year. This is the car, the truck. Much needed vehicle to compete to make the segment a little bit more competitive because for the foreseeable future, it's just everything is sold out. I think when the Silverado and when the Cybertruck reach volume production, that's when I think the U.S. market for EV market is really going to be its true self. It's just going to reach some kind of maturity. It won't be this little ramp up anymore. Because once they reach volume production, we're gonna get through like the backlog of every of those cars. Maybe not the Cybertruck because that's an insane backlog, but and maybe not even those, but maybe not even the F-150 and the Silverado. But F-150 has a big 200,000 vehicle backlog, but those are reservation. And I'm hearing a lot of people like cool down once they get to talking to their dealership, and the dealership starts talking. Stop talking MSRP and start talking actual like sales price. So I'm still think that they're gonna sell everything they get, but I think they're gonna work to that backlog a little bit faster than they might expect. But with the Silverado reaching full production probably around 2024, F-150 is gonna be there. Cybertruck is probably gonna be 2024. That's when the ramp up is gonna happen. I think that the US EV market is gonna start looking real interesting at that point. So yeah, this just a quick teaser. This little video that they posted.
They're getting really good at drip dropping info.
Oh, GM are the best with that. They do like 20 teaser per reveal. I mean, that's that was nothing. But yeah, what do you want to do?
Yeah, people are in line to get this thing. So
yeah, I mean, that was a popular post. Like, people wanted to see that, and I get it. People are excited. Like my dad has a reservation of one of those. Like other people are excited about the Silverado Electric. For a good reason. I mean, the Ultium system looks to deliver good performance. So what about in the pickup truck? That's not the Hummer EV. That was just not for everyone. Kind of a ostentatious truck.
Yeah, and the Ford F-150 Lightning is kind of built on Ford's not old, but like their current. So this is something different.
They delivered that, and they already started teasing the next generation of it. That the next generation is gonna be the real fun one. I was like, yeah, okay. I was kind of excited about this one.
Yeah, well, they can kind of do that now that they
Y-
have like
Yeah,
reservations for 5 years.
exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. All right, should we get to the comments?
Yep. Let's get right in there. Let's see. Wait for a Blackbird EV. I guess I think this was on the Cadillac area,
Yeah,
Blackwing.
yeah, it's a black wing. Yeah, that's what he meant.
All right. Jimmy Stack from Facebook. What is the range and battery size? So we
We,
talked
we
about
did
that a
that.
little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, J Hill, autopilot shuts off very frequently on winding road when car approaches.
So you
Don't-
mean like a two-lane road, but one lane each way? Well, that's not where autopilot is supposed to be used anyway. Like they have a lot of limitation on that. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just not what it meant for. Like if you have FSD beta, that's what it's meant for. I haven't had any problem with FSD beta doing that, but that's a different stack anyway.
All right. Bubble Elvis says the Lightyear Zero has 4 in-wheel motors. What's your opinion on in-wheel motors for cars? We see them often, hub motors on e-bikes. Also, the Aptera, another solar car, has in-wheel motors. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, my understand. I've never been a big fan. Like when Nordstown was doing it, I was like, I thought it was a very bad idea. Lightyear, Aptera, it makes a little bit more sense if the because of the efficiency and they are so limited in term of weight. So there can be some weight gains with in-hub motors, and also in case of the Aptera specifically, Lightyear probably a little bit too, though it's more of a car than the Aptera. You have a problem with space on the inside, so you take out the motor, you put it in the wheel, you get some space. So it makes more sense for what Lightyear is doing from what Aptera is doing, but I still think it's a bit risky because you're literally putting a critical part of the powertrain inside one of the flimsiest part of a vehicle, which is the wheel. So like your wheel gets beat up. Yes, I don't know if you ever been in Quebec or Mexico or places like that, but the
New York.
potholes, New York too, like everything that has a hard winter and some corruption when it comes to construction, you you have bad potholes, and it hurts my heart when I hit them with my 20-inch on my Model 3 that costs like $4,000.
Yeah.
I can
Also,
imagine if there's a motor in it.
do you have alignment issues? Like, when you go get your alignment done, do
Good
they?
question.
It's brings up some questions for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Jay Hill says, will layoffs of labelers, that's the full self-driving labelers, slow delivery of full self-driving?
So what Mr. Hill is referring to here is the fact that Tesla laid off about 200 people that work at the San Mateo office, which looked like it was mainly. I did a few LinkedIn search about it, and looks like probably like 80, maybe even 90% were data annotation expert and labelers. So they label objects and areas and region of a video to feed it into the neural net system with accurate data instead of just uh, randomized data. And that was a big important part for Tesla for the program
Yeah.
because the good data, like Tesla has a ton of data, but you have to make it a good data to have a positive impact on the neural nets. So there's two school of thought here in terms of how it affects the delivery of full self driving. The more like obvious one is that this is not good. This is fewer ends on deck. This is gonna slow down the rate of data Tesla gets. It's not gonna be good. And Tesla has been on a big push to hire some of them. I think just last year they hired like 1,000 of them, and the year before that there was like 2,000 role for labelers open at Tesla. So this is a real concern. Now, for the more optimistic people, the way they look at it, so Tesla has been working on a lot of auto labeling tools. So a system that learns to label the data and automatically, because it is a painstaking job. Like it's very tedious. It's not uh, it's not fun. So to be able to automate it is a big deal. And in the last few months, Tesla has been like releasing a few things talking about the auto labeling tools. So some people believe that Tesla felt like they could lay off those labelers because of that new tool that is being so good now. So that's the optimistic theory around it. I don't know if it's true.
Yep. Not sure.
Mm.
Maybe. All right. J Hill, I find the use of air conditioning in Vermont cuts mileage by 23%. 2021 Model S. Do you think this is normal? First of all, air conditioning in Vermont, that's pretty
Mhm.
optional. Like
Mhm.
doesn't get that hot ever. I'm here now. It's not that it's 80. Anyway,
Twenty-two
does that
percent
sound
though.
right?
What you think? 22%.
That seems way high. So I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It doesn't seem way high to me. It just seems a bit hot. I would think maybe closer to 15-20%. That is more reasonable, I think.
Yeah. Maybe
Maybe cheaper
try a t
filter or whatever. You know,
try a
filter.
t-shirt maybe. Uh
Well,
will
that.
Cadillac add a market demand fee? I think that says.
Oh, okay.
Uh
Will they mark up the vehicle over MSRP? Um, what do you think? I would assume that yes. Like, yeah.
Chevy's been pretty good about
Mm.
keeping the dealers in check, but I don't know. I don't know how Cadillac dealers are going to be. They'll probably do like, "Hey, do you want, a new color?" That's going to be, whatever. I don't know. I don't know what the dealers are going to do, to be honest. Certainly, they didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
Uh, what speed are the tires rated for on the Plaid? I think he's talking about the default tires.
Yeah, the stock tires I think they are not the super pilot pros, they're just the pilot pros. And I don't think that they're rated for 200 miles per hour.
All right. About the unlocked Plaid, is it me or could they have gone even faster if the runway was longer?
The answer is yet this though I don't like the way that Guillaume was talking about it. I don't think it was just that concern of the like braking space. He also I think like got because the goal was to reach 330 or maybe 340 kilometers an hour, and he got up to almost 350 at 348. And this is his car. He's in it. It's going fast. It's not
Really fast.
supposed to go that fast. Like there's a
Yeah,
lot of concern at play. Like
small things could go wrong that would be very, very bad at that
yeah,
speed.
the way he was talking after the fact it made it sound like he felt the need to because he still had like a good amount of braking space, but turns out that he needed the whole amount too. But he felt like he needed two brakes or to
Yeah, and
decelerate.
Tesla's only ever promised 200 miles per hour. So that's 16 over what Tesla's even, you know, hoping to get to.
Yeah.
The McMurdy Sperling electric fan car dethroned an F1 car at Goodwood. I think we actually wrote a story about that. How to become the fastest car there.
Yeah.
Um,
It was a weird looking car, and I never
yeah,
seen that one before.
and he had child seats in the back, apparently.
Oh no, that's Sylvain here is referencing to the Model S
The
Plaid.
Plaid.
Yeah,
Did he really?
and that no, he didn't.
Yeah.
He removed them right before.
Okay.
So Sylvain would know, but Sylvain works for not for Nginx, I think, but Guillaume's other company. He's a great electric vehicle technician. Um, but yeah, he joked about that they was child seat in it, but he did remove them before the fact. But honestly, I think he would have still achieved that speed probably with I don't know how much weight a child seat has, but it's not that much.
All right, real quick. Ioniq 6, dope or nope? We probably had a few
Mm.
minutes to talk about that earlier. What do you
Mhm.
think? In one word, dope or nope?
I'm okay with it. I wouldn't like look. I will keep my judgment until I see it in person or something. I see or a video of it or something. There probably already are videos out there, I guess, of like B-roll or something. But the pictures, I'm not mad at it. It's not my thing.
I'm gonna say dope.
Yeah.
I like something unique. I and not super weird. So
Mhm.
dope. All right, question. Do you think the VW ID Aero will finally push EVs into the sedan space and threaten the Honda Accord, Civic, and Toyota Camry Corolla? Depends on the price they plan, I suppose.
Yeah, it's still an early concept. Well, not that early, but yeah, VW is pretty good about their ID concept. But I don't know, man. The market has clearly shifted toward crossovers and SUVs. I don't know what would bring it back. I don't think the Ario is gonna be enough to bring it back. It's just it's just where the market went, especially in North America.
Yeah,
And in Europe, you see a lot more sedan. I think so. I thought the Ario was probably more geared toward the European market. I don't know what's going to take here for Americans to give up their pickups and
SUVs.
crossovers. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually really enjoy driving my Model 3. Let's see. A friend drove a Chevy Bolt on Uber, very good return. Yeah, that's, you know, kind of
Mm.
moving out of the gas model is fantastic. Um, yeah,
Yeah, I've
I
seen a
actually
lot of them in LA.
there
The
used to be
you,
what's it called, Maven?
yeah, yeah,
That
exactly. That's what it. That was it. Yeah, the same thing
yeah,
that Hertz is doing with Tesla right now,
right.
but with Bolt.
Seemed like a great idea. GM killed it. Uh, wouldn't be surprising. GM kills a lot of good things. All right. Yeah, the Bolt needs to charge faster. I think the Equinox is going to charge faster. I just saw a car ad. I put it in the Slack room.
Mhm.
This
Oh, was that a
this
car ad? I thought it was like more like a
it was an
like
email sent to me from a dealer because I'm trying to get a
ah.
Bolt for my my mom and my like I had to sign up for a couple dealers, so now I get a bunch of spam. But this guy had like a lot of things to say about the Equinox, so I thought it was interesting. But he said it was going to charge faster, it was going to have a bigger battery, all that stuff. All right, moving on. We're pretty close to the end here. Let's see. Oh, I guess we're not close to the end. A lot of conversations.
Yeah, those are
What
conversations.
what's under the inexistent frunk of the Lyriq? So we did a kind of a funny video you can see on our
Mhm.
I think Instagram. Uh, there's not there's just a bunch of like, you know, yellow wires and inverters and uh I think it's in there probably a few minutes. But basically there's just a space. And when we talked to the GM engineers, they were like, yes, we're going to put a frunk in there and probably like next year, the year after, you can see there's a bunch of space in there. We just haven't like cleared out the space and we don't have the design done for it yet, but you can clearly see there's room for some stuff like a small frunk already.
Oh,
Let me
there it
move
is.
on. Yeah. So
Oh
we
well,
kind
then he's already closing it down. Wait a minute.
we kind of pretended there was a frunk and put it back in it.
Yeah, here, here you can see it.
Yeah.
I keep missing it.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, the Cadillac would have been
Yeah.
a great, like, late prototype. The fact that
Mhm.
this thing is what's being delivered, probably not the best, but it's still a good car.
Mhm.
All right, AmeriCore XR4 Ti, I think he's talking about the Ioniq 6. There's nothing
Mhm.
wrong with the AmeriCore XR4 Ti. When I was a kid, that was the car I wanted. So, deal. All right, Jed Anderson, is there anything to the rumors that Tesla has considered building a factory of some sort in Edmonton? That is in the middle of nowhere, and it gets
Yeah.
cold there. Or
Yeah.
somewhere
Also,
in Alberta.
Alberta is like is an oil state. It's not really like a welcome to
Right.
electric vehicles. But I mean, I've reported like a few weeks ago about the rumor about Canada. Like, well, not a rumor, but Elon saying that they're considering sites in Mexico, Canada, on top of US. But not. I haven't heard anything specific about Edmonton or Alberta at all.
All right, that's pretty much the last
Mm.
question.
All right. Sylvain said that Hugo is not a guy that worked at Nginx. Says that that attempt was the sixth fastest top speed of all time for a production car.
Really?
Yeah, and
Didn't
first for production electric car. Again, production. You have to be careful when you say production. I don't like you.
what's the
If
Navara do?
yeah, Navara is definitely faster. I think it's 220. So it's not that much faster though, honestly. Though I don't know if they ever reached. They ever like they say. I don't know if anyone has ever like done it. There's also a bunch of cars that claim it, but they are like they're not there really. Like they don't do it. But there's definitely like a handful of like hypercar that have rated top speed that are higher than 220, even 300, I think. But like production, also it depends on what you mean by a production car. Like the Bugatti, I don't even remember what Bugatti has a 330 like miles per hour top speed, but like they made like two of them or something. Is that a production car? I don't know. But anyway, it's still impressive. That's it for this week's episode of the Electrek Podcast. Thanks a lot for listening. If you do enjoy the show, please give us a thumbs up, a like, or whatever app you're watching. That improve the engagement and tickles the algorithm. And we're gonna see